Hey y'all, what's good? It's your girl Taylor here for another video. Now, in this one, we're going over Clay and AD's family. What are the best moments, the highlights of their family? And I feel like I really wanted to create this video in particular to really showcase the beautiful, powerful, moving moments and the awareness that I feel like it was able to provide for not only Black families, just families in general, and bringing the conversation of healing, of growth, and just the trauma and the doing what we can to cut an end to generational curses. Let's have a conversation together about it, okay? So the very first clip, it's gonna be when AD meets Clay's mom for the first time, his mom and his sister for the first time, and what his mom says. So this scene starts out with Clay's mom. Her name is Margarita. So Mama Clay she has this wholesome, just sweet voice where it's like, look, you got to understand his schedule and you got to understand her schedule. And because it was talking about that and how there was an issue with time and making time for each other. And she was like, if you really love somebody, you going to make time for them. You going to make time. Okay. And that really hit both of them like, damn, okay, you're right. Making time, I love that so much. Like you got to make time. Okay. People make time for what they want to make time for. Okay. And it is important no matter how busy you get, how busy life gets with the kids, with work, with your friends, with certain obligations, commitments, whatever it is, being able to make time for that person in one shape or form. That's super important. You're in a relationship. You are, like you're in an intimate relationship where you spend most of your time, most of your personal, intimate time with that person. So being able to do what you can, not only to make time, but make the most of that time together. This next clip, we're going over when it's a private moment between AD and her mom, and being able to not allowing herself to carry the trauma of your parents and family, like breaking those generational curses. She brings out the importance of that, where it's like AD notices that he is carrying that and it's not on him, and the mom definitely makes a note of that. So in this scene, we have Mama AD. Her name is Jacqueline. And what's beautiful about the relationship between AD and her mom is that it is more than mother-daughter. It's a best friend type of relationship. They seem very close. She's very open with her mom, and her mom's very open with her, and straight up keeping it real. Like, look, the sad part is what he's worried about is not even his. They're his parents. And as far as him being worried about cheating and not being faithful, and look, she's just saying you can't carry his failures. He's got to deal with that. He's got to work through that. You can't make him change. And AD is ready. She's ready to walk by faith and not by sight, but is he? That's the question. And she shared how scary it is to take that leap of faith because you just don't know what's on the other side. It is scary. It's scary when you are in a relationship and there's the trauma that's there too. And you can't just, it's hard to be in a relationship and be completely healed. Okay, I don't think anybody's completely healed. Maybe there's certain wounds on them that's healed, but entirely overall as a whole human being, I feel like we're all on a healing journey, a journey that's not linear. There's so many ups, downs, and turnarounds, all of that, okay? And I do feel that within this, when it comes to walking by faith, that's huge. Like, love is, are you going to walk by faith, not by sight? That's huge. That's powerful because I feel like when you're in a relationship, that's part of it. There's a lot of trust that goes in it. There's a lot of openness and vulnerability that goes into it, especially in an experiment like this when things are at a rapid rate and pace. You got to be open. You got to be authentic. You got to be true and transparent and open to the healing. And so in this next clip, Clay is sharing about his father and how he went on these infidelity trips. He took him on these infidelity trips, and Clay calls it infidelity trips. And because that's what he realized what was happening when he was younger, where it's like he is cheating on his mom. This is somebody that he looks up to and that he looked up to as a kid. And this is somebody that he wasn't really able to see what it's like to be what does a good husband look like. He knows what a good father looks like because that was his experience, but not so much as like in a relationship, something that's creating a healthy unit together. So Clay's like, look, the way I grew up with my father, he would see cheating as a regular thing.
And he's always been a suave guy, always been good with women. And his dad would take him on these infidelity trips. And his mom doesn't even know some of the trips that he went on still to this day. But he loves his dad. He was always a great father. But when it came to women, that was something that he wasn't as good with when it comes to a committed relationship. And because he recognizes this is detrimental to having a committed relationship, he wants to go to therapy with AD to help navigate and talk through and heal through and work through this.
I remember when I was looking at this, it's like, yo, like he's saying that his mom, he never shared this with his mom, that these infidelity trips were happening when he was younger. And it was until this experiment when she did find out. But at the time of watching this as a viewer, I'm like, yo, like you just saying this business, like talk to your mom. I really hope before this drops, before this is released to the public, that she doesn't find out by watching the show, but she finds out, like you tell her while this is filming. I really hope he does that. And he does. He does end up doing it. And we get to find out towards the end of the season. But that was something I noticed while watching and viewing, like, ooh, okay. The next thing I want to go over is that conversation that Clay had with his dad. I don't know. For me personally, watching it was kind of hard to watch because I just felt like he was doing a lot of talking. Okay, it was a lot of talking, and not in a way where it was very super encouraging, but very like lecture like.
So Papa Clay comes in the scene. His name is Trevor, and he greets Clay and shows love. And then he does share about his own upbringing and how his dad, he would be around, but he didn't really want to be bothered. So he didn't really have the opportunity to have built a stronger father-son relationship. And when it comes to his mom, she did not have to teach him how to be good to his kids. The thing that he struggled with is seeing and witnessing like a good, healthy marriage. And it passed down to Clay viewing his parents and not really being able to see like a healthy relationship as well with like a committed relationship. And he's talking to his dad and he's saying like, look, there's so many things going through my head. AD's an amazing person. And there's just so much going through my head on what to do. And in this moment, that's when Papa Clay done dusted off his book of wisdom quotes, okay? And laid it on Clay.
I'm just kind of like overwhelmed.
If you think you're beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you'd like to win but think you can't, it's almost a cinch you won't, right? If you think you'll lose, you've lost. Around the world, you find success begins with a fella's will. It's all in a state of mind. If you think you're outclassed, you are. You gotta think high to rise. You gotta be sure of yourself. You, okay? If you want to win that prize. But it comes down to life doesn't always go to the faster or stronger man, but the one who wins is the one who thinks he can. And it's just believing in who you are.
Okay, so at this point, Clay's taking in all this information and he's in the diary room like, look, the process has been bringing a lot of truth to him. And he realized, there's a lot of pros and cons that he picked up from his dad, but he took a lot of those cons. And it's been causing a lot of issues in his life. And he's like, people are saying, don't let the past dictate your future. But he's realizing, he's a lot like his dad. So he's just having these inner conflicts.
If you're going to do this, you're going to do that. If you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And he was just saying these like things that needed to be slowed down. Like you're throwing out all these quotes and they're powerful. Okay. It's just a lot to like digest in a moment where he told you like he's feeling overwhelmed. Okay. And I don't know, it's uncomfortable to look at. And then when it comes to, I was like, yo, we need to replay. I was looking at this with my partner. Like, can we replay? Can we slow down these quotes that he's telling him? Like, I need to gotta process this. Okay, break it down. Like, what? And as he was throwing it, I noticed that Clay was filling in like some of the quotes and like towards the end, it's just like, okay, like he's said this a lot, so that's probably why he's saying it so fast. It was just like, I don't know if this is a thing that he necessarily needs in this moment right now as a pep talk before he's about to walk over the altar. I don't know, but that was hard to see. But yeah, the full clip between Clay's mom and dad after the altar.
So now we got Papa Clay and Mama Clay, and she's talking that he struggles with marriage. His son struggles with marriage and commitment, and it has to do with when they grow up, kids see things and wonder, is marriage for real? And that a lot of that stems from things that he has to explain as his father. Don't make excuses, apologize. So closure can be held. And Trevor, he's sitting there and he's taking in what she's saying and really truly processing it. And he's saying that he didn't really necessarily have the best role models in his life, and he can't remember his father ever being a part of his life. And she lets him know that she's always forgiven him and that there's things that came out in the end of this experience, though, that she did not know about. So when it comes to the infidelity trip, she did not know about that, but she knows now.
Although we came from broken families, that doesn't mean that we have to pass on that brokenness to our kids. Absolutely. Stop the bleeding, stop the cycle. Right. Your past and things that you witness is part of your DNA, it's part of your inside. If you don't get freaking help, you bring that shit into the next thing. So the fact that he did this process, he wants to be in a long-term relationship. He wants.
First of all, I gotta give some snaps and claps to his mom because she was going in. It was such a powerful conversation I feel like she had with him, and she made so many great points. And just the when it comes to what happens as kids and what we see within our parents and our families, that we are reviewing the dynamics, reviewing like the models, like what's being modeled within a relationship, and that can be carried down over time, and also it can be carried down to their kids, and so on and so forth. And she's doing what she can in her role and her part to help break those generational curses as well, like spreading awareness within this conversation to not only the world, this is between them and their family, but hey, we're seeing it. And I'm just so grateful that the world was able to witness this, and how powerful it is to have these family conversations. Like, yes, we need to talk about it. It's delicate, it's hard, it's painful, but it needs to be talked about. We need healing and growth to happen. And in order, like, because it's a family system, it's a system, and it can be deep rooted, and it is because Clay's dad, he mentioned, oh, he didn't have the best relationship with his dad, and how he saw things too. And so it's been passed over down the line, and the mom's like, look, like, we gotta do something. We gotta do something about this.
So Clay is asked at the reunion what he thought about the conversation between his parents, and he's saying that they're going through their own family healing, searching for healing journey, and he realized that he needs to take on his own therapy, his own individual therapy, do what's best for him, because he's realizing he is wearing a lot of baggage that his parents left him, and he's aware of that and wanting to take time and the work to work through it. And then they ask if he had a moment with his father, and he has. It wasn't like an I'm sorry, but it was in his own way, and Clay feels comfortable with who he is as a man with when it comes to his answer. Now, as far as moving forward though, he mentions that we don't really see men and how to be a good husband. So he has to really work harder in trying to figure out what that looks like, because he didn't have that within his own upbringing. So that is something that he continues to strive for and work on.
So that is my video when it comes to Clay's and AD's family, and the powerful highlights and moments that I was able to take away with, and the awareness that they were able to share from their experience from the experiment. And I'm grateful for it, and that everybody was able to witness. And in this video, again, I just wanted to showcase that. If there's anything that you disagree with, or you agree with, or you want to speak more on, please let me know in the comments below. I love to hear it. Let's have the conversation. And also, I want to just add that therapy, I feel, yes, it was mentioned a lot within the series by Clay, like, I'm gonna go therapy, I'm gonna go to therapy, and then now he's in therapy. This is the after effects. And it's like, as he's speaking, he's always had great self-awareness. I feel like towards the end he was also expressing that too, that just not wanting to carry that baggage over. And then once he does feel ready, which he does feel a bit more ready for a more serious committed relationship, and then he does feel ready to be in a relationship with AD, whatever his future relationship and partner looks like, whatever that is as far as in the future, that is that. But it is great to see that he is active within his healing journey, and within breaking and cutting those generational curses aside, and not carrying that for himself and for his future family. So that's what I wanted to know. And definitely check out the other videos that I've created for the best highlights moments of AD and Clay. They both have their own separate videos. So I'll see you in the next video. Peace.